Welcome into this Thursday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, 1:30 as we are hitting the record button today. The Food Network is on because, well, March Madness is still a day away other than the first four tonight from somewhere in Indianapolis. I don't know, wherever they're playing these things at. Nonetheless, we have a bracket on hand. We will go through that a little bit today. We will choose, I guess, our selections, or we'll input them later. I don't know. We'll keep each other honest. We are trying to put a bracket bet together. We'll discuss some potential options for that, as we typically do. We're stealing things from JOX, the round table out of Birmingham. So
that's okay. They steal some stuff from us here and there.
Good.
So imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
I mean,
they're
Ryan's
aware,
an ally. It's fine. We're all on the same team here.
They are aware of the deal. So supposedly the best way to do a bracket bet is a point system. So for the first four, you get 1 point for a correct pick.
Yeah, you get more points as the bracket
and then
goes.
2 points, 3 points, 4 points.
Better than like straight winning percentage or something.
Right.
Yeah, well, it keeps everybody in it as
Yeah.
long as you keep your teams in it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, one of us has all the Elite Eight teams and somebody has no Elite Eight teams. Well, it's over. But
Right.
at that point, it is what it is.
This
so
is also the start of National Twitter Mute Day.
That's the thing.
It is for me.
Because of the bracket thing.
The people who
Sorry.
tweet my bracket is busted, they get muted through the rest of the championship series.
Because everything is.
Because I hate them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you took fantasy football people's side in that conversation 2 days ago. The people who say talk about their fantasy football team, you think that's a more socially acceptable thing than this?
Yes, and I hate them. I hate them too.
Oh, you hate them too?
Yes, like when you all will do that at Ole Miss stuff, I just walk away. I mean, where y'all are like, because what drives me crazy about y'all's deal, and I like a lot of y'all. I do. I don't like all of you, but I like most of you. Y'all talk about it with this passion, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna get to the end, and it's high. It feels high stakes. Like winning matters. And I'll every once in a while ask, "What's the prize?" And it's bragging rights. And no, that's it.
It's illegal to. You know the backstory to that?
Well,
we'll talk later.
But
I understand your point. Yeah.
The thing is that the police aren't coming to get your fantasy football league.
They are not. No.
The NCAA is not coming to get your fantasy football league.
Rick Neuheisel would really disagree with you here, but sure.
Rick would disagree. Rick would absolutely disagree. No, we never did the pay up on the Neal's picks. Our problem is that we run out of time, but we've got to come up with something fun and different. And maybe it's this year, it's go to a action game. It might even be something as simple as to hit the reset on that and actually do it this time.
Just fulfill the obligation. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Assuming there are people that can go to action games as the fall gets here, but nonetheless.
Well, surely.
It's from Michigan or somebody.
Let's see, the MAC is in, I know it's in Michigan.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Illinois.
Ball State. Indiana. What Illinois team's in the MAC?
In Northern Illinois MAC.
Oh, you're right.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Thought that was right.
No, I wasn't disputing you. I just was trying to figure out who it was.
Because that's like, I mean, here's a list. Miami, Ohio is in it.
Yeah.
We knew that. Hold on. Buffalo's in it, so New York.
Oh.
Whatever that's worth. Ohio, Northern Illinois, Miami of Ohio, Kent State, Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan, Buffalo, Bowling Green, Ball State, and I guess Akron is what that is.
Okay.
Those are the MAC teams.
Well, it could be a set that we'll throughout this. You guys can be in the thread in our YouTube stream. And if you're in there, by the way, please subscribe. That would be a nice thing. I don't know why I can't get that to go all of a sudden, but I can't. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would appreciate it.
Hit the bell so you know when we go live every day, because it does change around and move.
But we will take your suggestions.
Toledo as well.
Oh.
Forgot them. The Rockets.
I don't know why the subscribe button's not working.
Really?
It's very disappointing.
So, anyway, before we get too far into the show, that and more on tap today on the Oxford Exxon Podcast, the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West here in Oxford. Take advantage of the Speed Pass Plus app. Download it, use it. You earn points. And when you earn points, you save money. Any Blue Sky location throughout Mississippi. Also, you get the lunch special, 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drink for $5.69. Stop in the hot case, the pork, the chicken, the side items, and more there inside. Again, the Blue Sky in Oxford, and coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Speaking of, I'm literally texting with Corey Clark as we speak. Great service at Clark Ford. Really tremendous service. 662-257-1900. Get in touch with them if you're in the market for a Ford vehicle. Get in touch with Corey. Tell him what you're looking for. They'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. They go above and beyond. They really do. They do it for me. They'll do it for you as well. They want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They'll prove it to you when you make that call, 662-257-1900. Guest, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Be a great place tonight to go watch the first four. Obviously tomorrow, full slate of sports. You got the NCAA tournament tipping off at, I would guess, around 11 a.m. would be my stab in the dark there.
Sure.
Ole Miss baseball tomorrow against Auburn, 6:30 is first pitch. So,
I think so.
If you're going to the game, be a great place to go before the game, do a little pregame. Be a great place to go after the game. Obviously, grab a burger, a sandwich, po' boy, whatever the case may be. Great beer selection, full bar, the whole deal there at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford and also in New Albany.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss is going to wear the gray jerseys all 3 games this weekend against the Tigers. I think that was their punishment for losing on Tuesday, so all you guys can look forward to that. Yeah, obviously. I did see from the Ole Miss uniform tracker thing on Twitter that Ole Miss, since 2018 when they debuted these hideous gray jerseys with the blue thing under the shoulders or whatever it is, they have won 73% of their games in any other color, and they have won 42% of their games in the gray jerseys.
Well, look.
There is a difference.
You know, when you put on your Blue Delta jeans and you're like, hey, these feel good. These look good. You have a little more pep in your step.
You think this is the look good, feel good, play good thing?
Would you argue against it?
It's skewed a little bit because your all road uniform is going to have a lower winning percentage than a uniform you only wore at home.
Well, sure. But that's a hell of a skew.
73-48.
It's a terrible uniform. They should burn it. And just get a gray that works. But I noticed, and so this might be a Nike thing. See if you can find this in me. I'm about to send you on a goose chase.
Okay.
It looked like, so I was keeping up with Arkansas, Louisiana Tech last weekend.
Okay.
It looked like Arkansas has a little red gusset thingy on their red thing where Ole Miss has the blue.
Okay. So they have the same jersey.
It looks like they have the same jersey, and this might be a Nike thing where some people should have just said, no, I'm not wearing that. Somebody at Nike should be fired.
Yeah, because I don't think the previous grays were Nike. I think the previous grades were something else.
Let me see if I can find it.
Arkansas. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. And you're right. It does have red under it.
So I'm Googling Arkansas road baseball jersey. Need to go to images because otherwise they're going to try to sell me stuff.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding it. Just do a quick search. Now, their red uniforms have a weird white gusset on it.
Yeah.
Which is odd, too.
They have some really strange... Their uniforms run the gamut from absolutely fantastic to god-awful. Like the cream with the white...
The cream's good.
The white A and just... Oh, man. And the hog on the side is fantastic. That is a terrific uniform. But the one that even says Razorbacks across the front, I'm not crazy about it, if I'm honest.
It's their simple ones. It's the white, the cream.
Yeah. They their red jersey has, you're right, has the white little gusset or whatever that's called, and I don't like it at all.
So it's the same suit as Ole Miss's gray.
I think so.
Yeah.
Their white and their cream are just fantastic. And then I'm looking at the gray right now. It's got the little same thing Ole Miss has.
Okay.
Yep. I'm looking straight at it.
Okay. I don't know when they will wear them next. I guess potentially in Tuscaloosa next weekend for their series against Alabama. Good news for everybody who plays Alabama, by the way. Connor Prelip, the first-team All-SEC pitcher for the Tide, he's still out. And I saw an update from Brad Bohannon, Alabama's head coach, earlier this week, who said that he's out at least the next couple weeks, which would include the Ole Miss series. And that's gotten stranger by the day because he still will not give a diagnosis. He simply calls it medical condition every single time that he's asked about it as time goes on. So I don't know. It's a little weird what's going on there with him. But Ole Miss facing Auburn this weekend. They'll be back for a minute if you're in the live stream with us. Neal talked to Mike Bianco, by the way, for a story that's up at rebelgrove.com this morning. Kind of the symmetry between 1 year ago when everything shut down with that 2020 season and this year as they were on I-20 both times. Speaking of 2020, between here and northern Louisiana. Last year, Ole Miss had played ULM and was coming back when kind of all hell broke loose. And then this year, La Tech, that one road game, only won because of COVID protocol stuff with a positive test there within the Ole Miss program. But Mike reflected and more up on rebelgrove.com. It's impacted everybody. It's probably him as a coach, as a father, and everything else. You can kind of read about it, but it's you don't know really what tangible ways maybe he coaches differently. But I do think that for anyone involved in anything with young people, with people in general, there's an extra human element that is in place now after last year.
First of all, I appreciated his time because I think I ended up talking to him as the whole COVID thing was happening to them on Monday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's because he sent me a text that goes, "Hey, I'm going to be a few minutes."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no rush. And then when he got me on the phone,
he knew what had happened.
He knew what had happened. I think he wasn't distracted, but he was like, hey, this is going to come out.
Yeah.
Whatever. I've said this before. I don't cover baseball because you do, in the same way that you don't cover basketball because I do. There's no point in us double teaming a regular season series. It's just pointless. So I don't deal with Mike as much as other people. He was very thoughtful. He was very candid because I was kind of like, can you take me through those couple of days again? And it was, Mike and I are about the same age. He's a couple years older than me.
Yeah, Mike's 52 maybe?
I think he said he's 53.
Okay.
I'm 51, so we're roughly the same age. And I know what he means when he says some memories are sharp and some memories fade a little bit. And I'm like, yep, feel it, get it. But it's amazing how much of that 48 hours he remembered vividly. And then, you kind of look at, one of my questions was, do you feel like it's come full circle? And it was like, it ended up being kind of a dumb question because no, we're still dealing with COVID right now. This moment, but obviously it's better. This is a day a year ago, not to the date, but the Thursday before SEC play. This was a day a year ago that was awful.
This was the day.
That
the season got postponed. And essentially canceled.
They
spent a day or two going, hey, we're going to kick back off on March 30th.
They really spent an hour or two.
Yeah.
I thought one of the profound things that he said was, but you knew, even if there was an SEC season, you knew that the College World Series was canceled. There was no Omaha. There wasn't going to be a regional or a super regional. There weren't going to be fans in the stands. Everything that you work for, everything that you dream of was gone. And I thought he had a really profound, it's a free read out there if you're not a subscriber. And if you're not a subscriber to rebelgrove.com, we would really love for you to become a subscriber to rebelgrove.com. It's
very cheap.
It's very cheap. Same price that it was during the Jefferson administration. Thomas Jefferson. So, yeah, and he gave a kind of a great quote where he talked about how at the end of every season, usually the season ends with a loss. Mike's teams make the tournament. Only one team, once you make the tournament, only one team wins the national championship. That's the way the rules are.
Everybody else loses last game.
Everybody else goes out a loser. And losing sucks. Then you go out in the outfield and you meet with your team and kids are crying. And he talked about how that always hits him that he's not prepared. Because even though you go into a game knowing, hey, if we lose today, we're done. But you
can't think like that.
You don't think like that. You think, but we're not going to lose today. We're going to win today, and we're going to survive till tomorrow, or we're going to get to next week, or we're going to get to whatever. And so when it ends, he talked about how when a season ends, you're out there in the outfield, and it sucks, but you knew the rules. Not in a bad way, but the kid for the other team pitched his ass off, like Western Kentucky that day. Mm-hmm. That coach had to go out in the outfield at Swayze and say, "It was really good, Pomeranz." Yeah. What do? Yeah. Well, you have a day where you just don't hit, or it doesn't go your way. But you knew the rules. You knew going into that game that if you lost that game, it was over. Those are the rules. And this time, he's having a meeting with a team that hasn't lost its last game. In fact, they've won 16 of their first 17 games.
In a row.
And they lost their first one. They've won 16 games in a row. They're getting excited about an SEC series against LSU. LSU was off to a good start, too. As most of you probably are aware, Ole Miss and LSU baseball, it's a pretty contested rivalry. The two schools like playing each other, and there was going to be a big crowd at Swayze. Spring, baseball, and everybody off to a good start. And
all good.
Hope springs eternal, all those things. And suddenly, literally within hours, less than 24 hours, it's over. And he talked about that meeting.
Because you're doing meetings over, it's what struck me about that story, is that you're doing multiple meetings all with the same tone. You're taking a little more from them every time.
Yeah.
Hey, no crowds. Hey, no College World Series. Hey, no season. Like just pow, 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 pow.
Well, Mike talked about how he was on that conference call on I-20. Well, the players, they got their own phones. You know what I mean? I mean, they're
not all just waiting for him to get off the phone.
They're not
hey, coach.
Yeah, they've got their own phones, and there's TVs on in the bus. And that was the night that the whole Rudy Gobert thing happened. And so if you're watching the SEC basketball tournament, that becomes the talking point. Mm-hmm. If you're watching ESPN, they're breaking into programming because the Pelicans don't want to play in their game, and the Kings say we're not playing because there was a referee that was in all that. Right. Remember that story? It just blew up.
Because SEC tournament played that night, but not the next day.
Yeah, the SEC had the two first games. Yeah. Georgia beat Ole Miss. Arkansas beat Vanderbilt. Okay. If they had announced during that day, I think they announced at halftime of the Ole Miss game, no fans tomorrow.
That's right.
And you knew this isn't going well. Mm-hmm. And so he gets off his call and he goes to stand up to talk to the players, and he realizes, they know a lot, clearly. They knew at that point kind of more than he knew. And he tells them, hey, parents, but that's it. We'll meet in the morning. And he meets the next morning, and it's, hey, pause till through March 31st. We're going to practice today, though, because we got to stay ramped up. So we're going to intra-squad this weekend. Mm-hmm. And then they have the next meeting. He sends them from the meeting to, hey, we're going to inter-squad this weekend. Get ready. We practiced. Now go lift.
That's right.
And then while they're lifting and he's on a treadmill,
it all dies.
It all dies. And he gets off the phone. He gets off the treadmill and he calls Keith Carter, who had just found out. And basically, the thing that struck me was Mike had questions for Keith that Keith couldn't answer, and Mike's players had questions for Mike that Mike couldn't answer. And then you tell a group of kids, and that's what they are. They're kids. And I remember this. This was the same day Campbell drove home from Arkansas and had found out Arkansas was going all virtual the rest of the year.
Right.
Sobbing. Because you took something away from them. You took something precious away from them. He had great insight. He talks about looking into their faces. And today, because I asked him the question, do you ever look back and wonder what if? And I thought his answer was fascinating. It's essentially, no. Can't think that way. Can't operate that way. I'm a realist. I operate in the real world. But what you could tell still resonates with Mike Bianco is he still remembers those faces in that room. Not the program, not what it did to the program, not what that team could have done for him or any of that. He still remembers, took something precious away. And you couldn't tell them why.
No.
And they were all looking at him like, why? And he couldn't do it. And I'm giving some of the story away here, but I don't think Mike's a big crier based on what he said. I don't think he's the type of person that watches the Hallmark commercial and begins to sob. Not that there's anything wrong with that person, because sometimes I'm that person. Yeah. But he lost it in that meeting. There was a lot there. And so, today to be where we are, I know there's a lot of gnashing of teeth about the pitching staff and about defense and offensive approach. But hey, man, it's a hell of a lot better place than it was a year ago. Because this was a really despondent day a year ago. I'll never forget it. I was in my gym, and I got a phone call from a national media person who I'm friends with, who said, hey, watch these 10 minutes.
Right, and everything. And
I went, what? And he goes, is there a TV? You got TV? I went, well, there's TVs on in here. And he goes, watch 10 minutes.
Bang,
and then
bang, bang,
boom,
bang,
boom,
bang,
boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom. Because I remember talking to you, and you had talked to someone who was like, I think the SEC is going to try to figure it out. And
I'll tell you who it was. I mean, we'll come back and talk about this in a second. But I'll tell you what it was. I was talking to Keith Carter, and it was Keith and I both on the phone kind of going, hey, here's a shot, right? Maybe. Like, we're kind of doing that thing where neither one of us really believes it, but we're kind of having that conversation. And at that point, that is his talking point, because that's what he's been told.
Right.
So, sure.
Right.
But we're kind of getting to the subtext a little bit going, yeah, but I don't know. Like, give this thing a minute. And, yeah, it all hell broke loose at that point. So, we'll continue in 1 minute. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We are also brought to you by our friends at Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Sign up is going on right now for softball and baseball at the Oxford Park Commission, ages 5 to 14 in softball, ages 5 to 17 in baseball, $50 per player. The season starts on May the 24th, but the deadline to register is April the 4th, so go ahead and get that done at oxfordparkcommission.com. Also brought to you by Lamons Fine Jewelry in Oxford. Lamons is at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford area for more than 73 years. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, collectibles, and more. It's the gold standard in fine jewelry. LamonsFineJewelry.com, or call them at 662-234-2777. Brought to you by Muddy Water Camo. Go to muddywateroutdoors.com. I know it warmed up for a few days. I'm just telling you, we got another cold snap coming before it's all said and done. That's how that works. And you can still get that Tri-Zone heated jacket or vest. Buy one, get one free. Get a portable battery charger. Get one. Buy one now, get one free. Even if you end up not needing it until November, you'll have it. Be a great Christmas gift as well. Get one for yourself. Get one for a Christmas gift, and have that knocked out. Speaking of heating and cooling and that type thing, we're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. It's the name you can trust with more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience in Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. You want to make sure that air conditioner is running in tip-top shape, because after that next little cold snap that's coming, it's going to start warming up and it's going to get hot, because that's how it works. 662-801-1041, 1777. And speaking of gear, whether it's cold weather gear or warm weather gear, the College Corner has you covered for game day. They have the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. 2 locations in the Jackson area. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram.
Let's see. Is it vivid to you? I mean, kind of last thing on that before we move on, because we're back to pseudo-normalcy at this point, at least from a standpoint of what we're talking about. It's not normal.
We're trying to get there.
Yeah, we were deprived and starved for so long that you even make it feel more normal than it maybe actually is in some ways, because you're kind of convincing yourself. But, I mean, even thinking back as you're saying that, you know it, we lived through it, but even, hey, everything shut down. Like, it even takes a second for me to kind of process that in my head as I think back on it, going, my God, it really, like, everything.
There was no NCAA tournament a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been weird because I've been doing this. I'm kind of in a really good headspace with it, and so I think it's one of the reasons I've been able to kind of reflect on it. Like, I didn't get as depressed about it as you got.
Mm-hmm.
Just we handled it different ways. But I can look back and go, ooh, and I did it today, March 18th. What was I doing last March 18th? And I started thinking about different people that I talked to. I talked to someone yesterday, you know who it was, for about 45 minutes, who I talked to about this same time last year for about 45 minutes, and our conversations were so damn different. This one was funny and uplifting, and that one a year ago was kind of down. And hey, this is going to go a while. Because I can remember telling you, based on conversations I was having, I can remember basically telling you, man, you got to get off this baseball thing. That's over.
Yeah. We're worried about football now.
And I said, dude, I'm concerned about football season. And you were like, oh, no way, no way, no way. And I can remember kind of saying it to you almost in a way that, looking back, wasn't all that friendly. Man, they're not going to play college baseball this year. That's not going to happen. I can remember reading people talking about, when will spring football happen? And I'm like, spring football? You people, you don't get it. And it was close. People will never know how close we got to not having it. So, yeah, when I look up today, I'm no joke. I get so pumped. Last week I was driving around and I could tell the square was happening.
Yeah.
And I was so happy for people. I mean, I was texting random people that I know going, hey, man, I'm really happy this is back. Because my life doesn't change that much. I mean, would I go out there on Sunday afternoon or something if somebody handed me a ticket? Yeah, maybe. But I mean, I don't cover it, and so, whatever. But I can remember this first week last year when the NCAA tournament was not happening on this Thursday, before the NCAA tournament, when spring training had been shut down, when you were like, there might not be a Major League Baseball season. There were no NBA games on TV. Sports stopped.
Everything stopped.
And Campbell's home, and the Wi-Fi is not good enough for everything we needed, and kids are coming downstairs mad or crying. Campbell had a economics test, and halfway through the test, the Wi-Fi gave out. And she just had a breakdown. And frankly, I didn't blame her. And I'm like, I promise you, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. And then she's yelling, and I'm upset, and I'm worried about my business and how am I going to pay for things. And, we had a big knockdown drag out that first week where I got in the truck and just drove off, and because I didn't know what to do. You're used to being able to be the dad who can solve things, and I can't solve this.
Couldn't be proactive. You're just reacting to everything.
I can't change this.
Yeah.
I can't make it better. I can't do anything for you. I know you miss your friends, and I can't make it better. And then Carson, we go play in the neighborhood, and all of a sudden we got to that place. All this stuff I remember, and we'll get off this in a second, I promise. What I remember about it, though, was about this time. Yeah, you can go play outside, but you can't go to anybody's house. Do we let anybody in our house? What do we do? All that stuff. And so where we are today, hell yeah, we had 20-something girls in our house. We had a birthday party for Caroline the other day. We had charcuterie boards. You wouldn't have thought of that this time last year.
It's just it boggles my mind a little bit. Walking in Swayze, walking in anywhere.
Yeah.
Even just, I mean, back then it was like, hey, I'm going to go run for 2 hours because it just gets you out of the house for a minute. Sure,
Mhm.
I'll do just anything to kind of move
Sure.
around and whatever. I mean, it's been kind of like the running thing. I think everybody either like lost 50 pounds or gained 50 pounds over the course of the last year, based off how you cope with the lack of being able to move around and do things. Surely we're still just moving in the right direction. Still.
Oh, I'll go further than that. I think it's over. I think we're having a hard time getting people to accept that it's over. In this state, if you want a vaccine today, you can get one.
Yeah, without any issue whatsoever.
I mean, so in that regard, it's kind of over. It's done this weekend. If you want to go to a baseball game at Ole Miss, you can go.
You'd probably take a ticket to Leiter here in a few weeks when he's in town.
Absolutely.
You can go see him.
Oh, I mean, look, Campbell's bringing a bunch of friends the weekend of the Arkansas series. I'm going to try to get them some tickets out in the outfield, I think, for Friday or Saturday. I wouldn't mind seeing one of those games. Those are two good teams. I definitely would love to watch Rocker and Leiter. Sure. I mean, I like baseball. I mean, I just typically don't cover it.
Especially when you can leave in the bottom of the sixth if you'd like.
Well, yeah, of course.
It's going to be 3 hours and 40 minutes in. So
I mean, if you told me I could get a ticket to the Vanderbilt Friday and Saturday games, or is it a Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Or Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
I thought it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, where I could sit there and have a couple of beers and bag of peanuts. And when Leiter leaves in the 7th, if I want to stay, I can. And if not, I'll leave, whatever. Yeah, sure.
You'll still see some dudes. I mean, I watch Pitching Ninja every week when Vanderbilt's throwing on Tuesday nights. They got these dudes with these 8-foot sliders over here breaking and stuff. It's like, I've never heard of that guy.
Yeah, he's on the JV.
Yeah. It's like, that's their midweek dude? Like, hell. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. JM says, Neal, let's sign up for any upcoming Mississippi race, any distance. Be cool to have an OEP Rebel Grove race with some in the community. I'm sure it's doable. Or something. I don't know. Have to look at some. Are races pretty much starting back? Like, what does that look like?
I saw there was one in Oxford. I think it's a 10K.
Is there?
I think so.
That could be about as brutal as a 10K could get, depending on where the route is with the hills and stuff around here. You can make it complicated.
That double-decker 10K is
their routes.
It's a
little bit of a bear.
It's a little bit of a booger bear. It's got that hill in the 5th mile that if you weren't prepared for it, to get you a little bit.
I did the 8-miler with the Chucky Mullins a couple of years ago, and that route's not as bad. They avoid most of the really bad stuff with that one. It's not.
Well, if you've ever trained in Oxford, you know that it's
hilly.
You have to give it some thought to avoid the hills.
You're not in the Delta around here, so. No, we have not got to it yet. KJ Buffen announcing on Twitter yesterday, I think, social media to some extent, Kermit Davis mentioned as well, that he has opted out of the NIT and really opted out of his Ole Miss career. He will transfer and finish his career elsewhere.
He is in the transfer portal.
Okay. And then also it looks like Devontae Shuler is not playing against Louisiana Tech in the NIT opener as well. So
that's correct.
Some roster issues from a one-game standpoint for the Rebels against the Bulldogs. But how is the season ebbed and flowed? How surprised are you that we are here with Buffen at this point?
Ooh, it's a good way to phrase that. 2 months ago, I would not have been surprised at all.
Right.
2 weeks ago, I would have been really surprised. And then Friday night, I would not have been surprised at all. Kind of ebbed, flowed. KJ's an emotional player. He really cares. He wants to be great. He wants to win. And it worked at times for the last 3 years. Look, in fairness to Kermit, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to put a caveat on it that maybe I'm wrong. And if Kermit ever comes on the show and tells me I'm wrong, I will say, okay, I'll defer to you. You're at practice, I'm not. You're in the meetings, I'm not. Duh. I don't know that there's not a little oil and water there.
Well,
Kermit coaches hard. Kermit coaches emotionally. There were a couple of times where I thought Kermit was pretty critical of KJ publicly.
Media-wise, yeah.
And I don't know how KJ responds to that. KJ is a super emotional guy.
And I think Kermit would agree with this. The biggest disappointment of that is you've got a guy whose fault is he cares too much. You know what I mean? When that's the flaw, that he can't calm down his emotions, that he cares, that he gets so frustrated that he gets out of control. And he did. I mean, he got in foul trouble. I mean, there was all sorts of stuff from an on-court standpoint that he struggled with. But whether it is Kermit's fault or not Kermit's fault or somewhere in the middle, that has to be such a frustrating thing for a coach, because it's not like you've got a crap head over here or somebody you're trying to rein in, or, you know, I mean, we made this thing. I mean, Andy dealt with Reginald Buckner for 4 years. I mean, different level of kind of what we're talking about. I mean,
totally.
You know, Buffen's a good guy. Like, he
Reggie
just
didn't
cares.
always care.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Buffen cares. That's his problem, is he can't just can't have that relax to him, and that's got to be a very difficult thing for a coach. But also, I do think that takes a certain temperament from a coach as well. I mean, and that's however you want to phrase it, oil and water or whatever. They just never really maximized what his at least on court ability could be in the right headspace for him. So,
and here's the bigger story. This isn't about Ole Miss, although it impacts Ole Miss. You mentioned Andy. He's got 5 players, according to AL.com. He's got 5 players that went into the transfer portal yesterday, and I think there might be more on the way. This transfer portal story, Chase, in basketball and football, but especially basketball, is quickly becoming the most undertold story. And I'm guilty of it too. I haven't written about it. I need to. I'm going to write about it in 10 Thoughts. I'm trying to kind of talk to enough people to be educated. But I've talked to multiple coaches about this, and they're all starting to say the same thing, which is it's bad on 2 fronts. It's really bad on 2 fronts. On one front, look, KJ Buffen will land someplace. He's fine. He's going to play.
Sure.
If Dude Column gets in the portal, where's he go? And then for high school players, this is where it's devastating. There are college programs today that are going, all right, now wait a minute. Let me look at this objectively. Why in the hell am I recruiting a high school player? I can get older.
Known quantities.
Right now, out of the transfer portal. And if I sign a high school player and he's any good, everyone's going to poach him. So I'm doing somebody else's development. If I'm Louisiana Monroe, let's use them.
Sure.
I'm in the Sun Belt. My program's not any good. How do I make it? How do I try to land? I take 6 or 7 dudes out of the transfer portal. Use your analogy. I'm Island of Misfit Toys, and maybe it fits. I get a hot year. I'm a coach. I turn that one hot year into a better job. But if I land a high school, let's say I signed the next big stud out of Ruston, and he grows 4 inches, and he ends up being a really good player. Okay, well, what's to stop LSU from poaching him? What's to stop Arkansas from poaching him? What's to stop Ole Miss or Mississippi State from coming in there and poaching him? Nothing.
All that's 100% right. The 2 things that I thought of, which are 2 different ones, is A, while you're 100% right, everything's on a 1 year. It's year by year right now in college basketball. And that's what everybody's not understanding and focused on from a fan base standpoint, a media standpoint, probably even to the level that it is a staff standpoint in some staffs. But, I mean, it literally is build a roster and then see what the hell's left next year and then build it again. And you're doing just a year. It's like everybody's a free agent every year. We're just 1. And my point being, you're seeing it right now. Why is Kentucky kind of weird? Why is Duke kind of weird? Well, it's continuity. Now, I get COVID's a huge part of it.
Sure.
But also is, hey, that one-and-done nature is tough when it's everybody like that. So you're trying to make sure, like you said, the cohesiveness of this island of Misfits Toys, it's all got to fit. Everybody's going after the same dudes in the transfer portal, at least on your relative level. So that's a problem. And then I would argue that unless they get really good where any fan base locks in, look, and this isn't really about an Ole Miss basketball fan base. It's not really about that, but it is. You don't get to. You and I talked about this last night. You don't get to know players. You know, you don't watch the guy as a freshman become the junior like you do in baseball for 3 years, or obviously football with players that actually play.
Matt Corral.
Yeah, he you're watching Elijah Moore. I mean, that kind of thing where you're watching these developments into these better players.
Of course.
Ole Miss basketball has always kind of needed dudes to get behind from a fan base standpoint. Look, because they haven't been, oh, my God, a 4 seed very often where you just cheer for the jersey and go, oh, they're just awesome. It's been about Marshall, and it's been about Todd Abernathy, and it's been about Chris Warren, and it's been about Keith Carter and the whole deal.
And Cisse and Michael White and Anthony Boone, guys that played for a while, and then it was Marshall Henderson, and it was Murphy Holloway who was here forever. And
you watched it build.
You watched guys develop, and you mentioned Chris Warren and even Stephen Moody and Sebastian Saiz, and that era seems to be disappearing.
So I think that's even a problem for Ole Miss. From a fan base standpoint, maybe I'm wrong, but it's my thought, is that there's even a difference on how much a fan base locks in. If you tell me there's a difference in, hey, they're going to go 19-9, whatever in the league, with dudes who have been there for 3 years and you got to know them and you're invested in those dudes, and 19-9 and whatever, and it's just a bunch of mercenaries year after year after year.
Well, what's interesting here with basketball, I'll be Ole Miss specific here, although I think this applies to some other places. It applies at Mississippi State off the top of my head. It applies at probably Arkansas, at a lot of places. You've got this interest in football that is pretty strong unless the football team just sucks.
Sure.
The football team has to suck for people to get to a place. And we've seen suck, but it has to suck for people to completely just write it off. So they go till minimum Thanksgiving. And then you've got a baseball season that starts Valentine's Day-ish, no later than March 1st, depending on when fans can go from a weather standpoint. Sometimes it's so cold in late February that people are like, I'll wait a week. But you've got this baseball stuff. Well, with the football team, as you mentioned, and look, the transfer portal is going to impact this, but it's the roster's too big for it to impact it this way. You've got guys that you watch develop or not develop over 3 years, but they're familiar faces. When you take your son to the ball game, he knows who number 27 is. Mm-hmm. In baseball, it's even more intimate because you can see players' faces.
Yeah.
And so you go to the game, and like this year, you're watching Doug Nikhazy pitch for the third year.
Yeah. You've seen all those dudes.
You've seen Tim Elko.
Yeah.
You've seen him develop or not develop. You know what he can do well or not do well, but you
hear the at-bat music. It's the same.
You know their stuff. So in between that is this basketball thing, which is a weird season anyway from a college standpoint because it gets rolling in November when football's going. Then it goes into December, which is throughout my life, we've had Christmas in December. Maybe it was different before. But you've got the holidays, and so the Christmas break happens, and Oxford changes, and Auburn changes, and Fayetteville changes, and you don't get the same crowd at a December game that you get in, say, February. But if there's no continuity and the people don't have anything to follow, by the time the season part rolls around where the kids come back on January the 15th or whatever, baseball's just a month away. Mm-hmm. And so if you can't get people motivated, this is what would scare me about college basketball if I were an athletics director right now, if I were a CFO and I were looking at bottom lines, revenues. Can you fill it up? I mean, the fans don't know their players. And when look at Ole Miss's roster right now. It's a team that was a bucket from the tournament. I mean, they're down 1 with 1:40 to go against LSU when Days hits the 3. If he misses that shot and Ole Miss gets the rebound and scores, they're a minute from the tournament. Mm-hmm. And yet, who's going to be back from that team? Sammy Hunter, Luis Rodriguez, Jarkel Joyner, Robert Allen, probably Matthew Morrell, and probably Austin Crowley, and maybe Dude Column. Probably not.
Well,
so 6 or 7 guys. They're turning over more than half the roster. And what if Crowley leaves, which frankly is one of the rumors that he's kicking the tires of the transfer portal? I mean, it's potential that you would only return 5 players. You bring in 8 new players.
Which means you have 5 transfers.
It means you have 3 freshmen and 5 transfers. I don't know how you sell that, honestly.
And again, it's got to fit. even beyond that, on the court, it has to fit. Tough.
Ryan says it's easier to get fans back after sucking in football. Basketball going to take a season or two. I agree with that 1,000%.
Oh, football, a good PR campaign gets them back. They want to be back.
It's football. It's just different.
Also.
And football has an event around it at most places.
I mean, even if what you're saying on the maybes are staying, this team loses Romello, Schuler, Buffen, and then some other guys are already off the roster, like Hadim C. It's already gone and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking pretty significant stuff there.
The family text just then, Caroline sent with the pray hands. Actually, it was Laura sent it. University of Arkansas Board of Trustees approved a resolution on Thursday directing campuses to prepare for a, quote, return to in-person instruction and other campus activities this upcoming fall term.
So Arkansas is jumping in the boat now.
Yeah. Every time somebody does it, I'm like, thank you.
Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark. Service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark, Florida studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. nespark.com, again, with a C, or 662-238-3159. Phone service available, as well as parental controls, network security, and more. Find out if they're in your area, in your neighborhood, and if so, have them hook it up. Again, nespark.com.
We taped a Mind on My Money podcast earlier today, we being Martin Palomo and myself. It is brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals, businesses, and much more. PinTrust.com, PINNTrust.com. Mention that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You get 10% off your first year's fees. Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Get in touch with John. Tell him what you're thinking about doing. And give him some parameters, a budget. Sit back, do nothing. He'll come up with a ton of options for you, for your family, for your trip that you will not think of on your own, you wouldn't find on your own. And you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards at regencytravel.net. Also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB is home to a commercial checking account now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. Comes with fully interactive online banking. Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And we're brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. So I was thinking, Ole Miss is in that boat. Mississippi State's in that boat, I think, right?
What boat?
Hey, we're opening up.
I haven't seen it, but I would assume. I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Okay.
So Alabama's in it.
LSU's in it. Ole Miss is in it. Alabama's in it. Arkansas's in it. Texas A&M's been in it.
Yeah.
They've been up at the front.
From the league, that's all I'm aware of so far.
I'm trying to think. Is there anybody else?
I haven't seen Kentucky. I haven't seen Carolina.
Georgia? No.
No. Florida? No.
No. Missouri? I haven't seen that.
No.
Certainly not Vanderbilt. They might never reopen.
I haven't seen anything else. Oklahoma outside the Big 12.
Yeah.
That's it. Unless we're missing something somewhere.
Trying to think.
I think that's it.
I think you're right.
Yeah. What do you want to do, bracket-wise?
I love. We can't steal their idea.
It was so good.
Their idea about sending someone to that
the alien convention in
Roswell.
in uniform.
In costume.
I looked at crazy ass festivals for the year, and there was a few that were kind of like maybe, but the problem though too is like we're a pretty small shop. Like there's certain times of the year where it just doesn't make sense though as well. But yeah, there are some weird ones out there. There are tons of Comic-Cons. You can find whatever level of Comic-Con you would like to find for your year. I mean, yeah, you get all the WandaVision you want. Trust me.
And if you went to that and you had to dress up, it would actually be really funny.
How are you documenting it, though?
You'd have to use your phone.
And just constantly talk
to people.
Periscopes and
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the huge Comic-Con is in San Diego in July, but it's probably like really expensive and all sorts of stuff. I don't know if that's even doable.
I don't mind the idea of a action game. The other idea that we had was a conference basketball tournament. Will they ever have one of those again? I don't know.
For what? Basketball?
Yeah. Oh. I think a really cold action game would actually be really funny.
It would.
You have to go and you have to
embrace it in whatever way we.
Well, and we probably could do some sort of a live show using Skype from the game. I'm thinking there's probably a way to do that.
Yeah, lots of Comic-Cons. The Vermont Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo, whatever the hell that is.
Oh, no, that's not. When is that?
April 24th and 25th. You want to find out some more information on that?
Yeah, dig into that a little bit.
All right. Let me see what it says. Let's go to the website.
Dragon Con is in Atlanta the weekend of the Louisville game. What is Dragon Con?
Oh, no. Is that not what we saw?
That's when Ole Miss played Boise.
Yeah, we were there.
Those were some different people now.
You would get in the elevator and go, oh, my God. It was there that week. That's what that was.
See, I thought that was Comic-Con or something, but it must be Dragon Con.
Yeah. People were in it. Let's put it that way.
Oklahoma Rebel says a game at Buffalo in November would be good. You can make a Buffalo weekend.
That's easy. Yeah,
it's easy to get there.
I've never been to Buffalo.
I've never been to Buffalo either. Surely by November, places like Buffalo are open again. I mean, right? Surely?
Yeah, I mean, this Vermont thing looks like the whole thing is like just in this huge ass warehouse. Like, it does not appear huge, but it looks
pretty freaked out.
A little freaked out. Yeah, I see R2D2 as I'm looking at the sheet here. The problem with this one is it's kind of small enough to where you'd really stick out being the guy making fun of them for the week. Like, it'd be really hard to blend.
Might get your ass kicked.
Yeah, it'd be really hard to blend in here. I'm like, I think C3PO might hit you at some point over the course of the weekend. Yeah, lots of Comic-Cons. I mean, they're in like every town.
All right, Big Ben's doing some work for us here.
Okay, what's he got?
He said you picked the worst possible game of Ole Miss's bye weeks. That is one thing we need to look at. We need to look at the Ole Miss football schedule and see what the bye weeks are. Does are MAC schedules out
for 2021?
Yeah,
2021 MAC football schedule.
And I'm pulling up the Ole Miss schedule because I do not have it committed to heart yet. Sorry.
You don't have it done?
Do you?
No Michigan MAC games until November. I'm seeing that.
Okay. Ole Miss has an open date on when is the open date?
Okay, on this link, I only have the 3 schedules for.
Ole Miss has an open date September the 25th.
Central Michigan hosts FIU. Eastern Michigan hosts Texas State. And Western Michigan hosts San Jose State.
And that's Ole Miss's only open date? Shouldn't they have 2 open dates?
It depends on the calendar. You know, like how many weeks there are between certain dates and stuff. It changes by the year a little bit.
They play September 6, September 11, September 18. Then they have an open date. Then they play October 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd, 30th. Okay. And then they play November 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th.
Nope.
Damn.
One open date. And a pretty early one. Is
there a MAC game after November 27th? They have anything on December the
3 schools I'm looking at do not.
Okay.
I'm going through a few other things here. Oh, here we go. Okay, here's a full MAC schedule.
All right.
So what dates do we want? September 25th. It's going to be nice, frankly.
Yeah, it almost kind of defeats some of the.
I mean, that's going to be almost pleasant as you're kind of hanging around.
I don't know why we would pick MAC if we're doing September 25th. We'd almost want to pick something even more random than that.
Like what?
Pick some really heated rivalry where you have to go as the road team, wearing all road gear.
You get beat up by Yale or some shit. Like, good, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the 25th, Toledo, Ball State, FIU, Central Michigan, Texas State, Eastern Michigan, Maine, Northern Illinois, San Jose State, Western Michigan, Akron, Ohio State, Bowling Green, Minnesota, Buffalo, Old Dominion, Kent State, Maryland, Miami, Army, and Ohio, Northwestern.
There's not a lot there.
Mm-mm.
And then we're looking for
the title game is the 4th.
Okay, that's in Detroit.
That's it, yeah. Ford Field in Detroit. So really nothing. Well, hold on, though. What day is the Egg Bowl?
Well, this has it as Saturday, but I thought
on the 27th?
Yeah. Are they moving it to the 25th?
I haven't heard that either way. I mean, Tuesday, November 23rd.
Okay.
Or Friday, November 26th.
Okay.
It's doable, either one of them.
Tuesday would definitely be doable.
It's Western Michigan at Northern Illinois and Buffalo at Ball State.
Ball State's in Muncie?
Yeah. Neither one of those are like, oh my God, you're Upper Peninsula or anything.
No, you could do it.
Friday, November 26th, which it would take some really interesting travel to get back. Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan.
Well, that would be good.
That's the one that if you had to really whatever, or Ohio at Bowling Green.
But you don't know whether the Egg Bowl could be 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Because it absolutely could be.
But there's lots of Tuesdays here. I mean, in November that would be doable. I mean, Western Michigan at Eastern Michigan.
Oklahoma says go to an Eagles NFL game.
Here's not
dressed
a bad
as
one.
any away fan.
Yeah, hell no. There is a limit to what we're willing to do here. That is not one. This is one. This actually might not be bad because it's going to be cold and miserable. Wednesday, November 17th, Northern Illinois at Buffalo.
Well, that might be the way to go. Northern Illinois at Buffalo, Wednesday, November 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the Wednesday before Ole Miss plays Vanderbilt here.
Yeah. You get back.
And if the Vanderbilt game is in contention, this season did not go the way that we needed it to go.
Yeah. So that's doable.
All right, so let's
two pretty good teams.
Let's put it down to that. That was games in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun. Another one would be funny is the Kibbe Dome. Is that that's Idaho?
That's Idaho. Right?
Yeah. But going to a game in the super cold would be funny.
That's a
Wednesday night game in Buffalo would be funny.
That no one's at, and it's.
All right, we'll make it that unless we found out a way to really do the Dragon Con thing.
I mean, I'm telling you, I think people would get pissed off. I mean, I'm curious at how Ryan and them do it because I bet those sci-fi nerds get really pissed off if somebody
they think
if
you're being made fun of.
Yeah, and you'd have to go in embracing it, not.
But if people started trying to talk to you about it and you could not be conversant at all,
because you know nothing,
you would because they know everything.
Yeah, I mean, what?
I mean, let's talk about dragons. Carson used to have some stuffed ones.
I mean, like
that's the extent of it. I liked that dragon and
like how to train
your.
Yeah, Dragon Con, largest multi-genre and pop culture convention, Atlanta, Georgia.
That's happening.
Focusing on science fiction and fantasy, gaming, comics, literature, art, music, and film in the universe. Call us a phenomenon.
Okay.
Call us one of the most well-attended pop culture conventions in the country. Call us the most fan fun you can have in 5 days. Dragon Con is where you want to be on Labor Day weekend. I could pick some other places, but how much is this, too?
If you do Dragon Con, you have to do it like SEC Media Days and go to all the panels.
Oh, God. 5-day membership, $115. Swing that. That's doable.
That's very doable.
Yeah. Now, you can pay for an eternal membership and get a lifetime pass for $3,500.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Eternal.
Yeah. That's correct. Got some official T-shirts, $23.
So Ben says it's mostly fantasy stuff. Wheel of Time. What is the Wheel of Time?
It's that book series.
Okay. What is Lort R?
Dude, I
know D&D is Dungeons and Dragons, which apparently
that.
had a big comeback during the pandemic.
Did it really?
Supposedly.
Okay.
All right, we're going to do either one of the MAC games, or we'll talk about this Dragon Con thing.
Yeah, that's fine. So this is for the NCAA tournament bracket we're filling out
that we're about to do right now on this show.
Oh, we're doing it right now?
Yes.
Okay.
With witnesses.
Well, we're put it on the board. We're not.
We'll go through it quick.
Okay.
We're not studying it.
Oh, so studying it would be a problem because, what's the fun in that?
Oh, yeah.
I watched so much college basketball over the course of the year. Let me make sure I knock this out. Although you really hadn't watched much either.
I really haven't.
Oh, geez. Podcast is brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222.
Oh, Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, you went Lorter.
he said LOTR, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Okay. Well, it just shows you how out of place.
You proved the point right there.
There.
All right. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They offer MedSync for your prescriptions same day each month and take care of you, whether it be one trip to the pharmacy or one delivery. You get what you need when you need it. So whether you're in Holly Springs, on the square, again on South Lamar and Oxford, give them a call, 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by Bain, Moss & Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. The only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. That experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620. Also brought to you by Alpha Specialties, located at 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl, Mississippi. It's your trailer-specific professional. If you want to haul it, they can call it. They've got Load Trail. It's the premium brand trailer, the highest quality equipment, utility dump, and gooseneck trailer being built today. Fully primed, powder-coated load trailers come with an industry-leading 3-year warranty and 2 years of roadside assistance. They also have spare tires, wheels, just starting at just $100. A full selection of trailer parts and accessories, hitches, winches, straps, and more. 601-932-9798 or alphaofms.com. Brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans, where they make the best-fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit and hand-tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi. One size fits one at BlueDeltaJeans.com. They've been advertising with us for the past 2+ years. We've always directed you to direct message them to set up a time to get measured. But now, whether you're coming to Oxford or not, you can visit BlueDeltaJeans.com to get measured by their new virtual tailor and design your very own jeans. And just for our podcast listeners, enter the discount code REBELGROVE, one word, all lowercase, at checkout, and get 10% off your order. The most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. You'll feel the exact same way. They're absolutely fantastic, and you can check them out at BlueDeltaJeans.com. Oxford Exxon Podcast also brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue, your destination for fine men's clothing. It's got everything you're looking for, from work to lifestyle to nightlife. The perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Duckhead, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, and more. All at The Rogue, where they have a commitment to excellent service that they've been honoring for 55 years now. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or at therogue.com.
All right, so how are we filling this out?
It's a good question. Because I don't have
we don't have them printed out.
I don't have printed brackets.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Do you want to both just write down we'll type out the teams that we're advancing,
Yeah,
and then
I'll
we'll
do
go
that.
from there?
I'll do that.
Okay.
We'll get that done. By the way, Ole Miss and Louisiana Tech is at 8 Central tomorrow night. That game in Frisco, Texas, you can see it on ESPN2, West Durham. Chris Spatola on the call. The last time those two teams met was December 15th, 2015, when Ole Miss won 99-80 in Oxford.
Sammy, I actually kind of like that idea. If you had to go to the Dragon Con, dress up as a Shinichi Dragon, Japanese baseball team. or Korean or whatever they are.
Where they would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you walk around asking people if they can name anybody on the team.
That's not bad.
You're still, hey.
Oh, where you walk around going, I thought this was a Dragons convention.
I'm in the wrong place.
I'm in the wrong place.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
So then you start asking tons of sports questions.
Oh, that's not terrible.
Oh,
Look, I'm not against making this a double-edged sword where you have to do both.
The game and the Dragon
The
Con?
game and Dragon Con.
Well, hell. Okay. Yeah, the Dragon jersey for they basically have a Dodgers format, and it just says Dragons across the front instead of Dodgers.
Well, you wouldn't have to go to all 5 days of Dragon Con.
Yeah, no.
Like 2 days.
If you're already there, did we cover the game from there, or we come back for the show?
One of us could be there and cover the game. We just have to set up some sort of a Skype sort of a thing.
Okay. Anyway,
we can figure that out.
All right, here we go. So, are you doing for both of us, or are we both trying to do this?
I'm about to do it for both of us.
Okay. You ready?
I'm almost ready.
Okay.
I'm almost ready.
That's true, and UAB would work as well.
Oh,
the Blazers.
Oh, that would be funny too.
Yeah, it's against Dragon.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Probably could get a stuffed UAB thing and carry it around.
Think so?
I thought this was. Yeah, I thought we were celebrating Dragons. Yeah. That's actually really funny. Yeah, I'm close. I promise. I had a little screw up right there, but I'm almost fixed.
Have you looked at any of this? Like, do you have any idea?
Very little.
I mean, I know we have like just basic knowledge, but
I will tell you real quick before we do this, we're also brought to you by Joey Erickson at Heron Gear Chevrolet. Let him find the vehicle you're looking for at a price you can afford. Choose from a full selection of new Chevy vehicles or get a great deal on numerous brands of reliable pre-owned vehicles. Give Joey a call or text at 662-571-2367. Tell him what you're looking for, or stop by at 1685 High Street in Jackson to test drive that new or used vehicle you've been wanting. Let him earn your business. With any purchased vehicle, just mention the Oxford Exxon Podcast or the Soft Verbal Podcast. You get a free $50 gas card. Okay, yep. I'm ready to roll.
You're good? Yep. All right, let's find it here. Norfolk and App State. App State.
All right. So you got App State. I'll go App State as well.
Okay. Wichita and Drake.
I'll take Drake.
Okay, I was going to do the same thing. Mount St. Mary's and Texas Southern. I'll take Mount St. Mary's.
I'll take Mount St. Mary's as well.
Okay. Michigan State, UCLA.
Michigan State.
UCLA. Michigan State has great wins and really bad losses.
They do.
The Spartans.
They also have Tom Izzo.
They do. That's true. UCLA has Chip Kelly.
All right, so that's
we're getting into the main bracket.
That's round one.
So that's all tonight.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Gonzaga and App State. We're going to take the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Gonzaga.
That would be a big upset if that happened on whatever day. Oklahoma and Mizzou. I'm taking Oklahoma.
I'll take Missouri. I'm just going to write down where we have a difference.
Okay. Now I'm going to need you as we get deeper into this to make sure we know who we have, though. At least one of us.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Creighton, UC Santa Barbara.
I'll go UCSB.
I was going to do the same thing. Yeah. Virginia, Ohio. I've got the Cavaliers.
Yeah. Wahoo's all day.
Okay. USC, Drake.
USC, because they have a stud player who is a monster who you can't name, but he'll be the second player pick in the draft.
I actually have seen his name, Evan Mobley.
Oh, look at you.
Evan Mobley.
Wow.
Sandbagging this bitch right here. Hey, I've had brackets up all day. Hey.
Oh, wow. I am absolutely.
You would have bet $20 the other way on that.
Oh, yeah. I would have said he has no idea who the hell Evan Mobley is.
Okay. Kansas, Eastern Washington. We'll take the Jayhawks at least in round one.
Yeah, for sure.
Oregon, VCU. I'm going to take the Ducks.
I'm gonna go VCU.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take Iowa over Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
With all respect to Bryce Drew.
Is that where he is?
He is, yes. The Antelopes.
Dan Marley kind of built that program up a little bit.
Yeah, they were okay.
Yeah.
Michigan and you good?
Yeah.
Mount St. Mary's, Michigan advancing.
Michigan, for sure. Michigan's really good.
I have the LSU Tigers advancing over the St. Bonaventure Bonnies.
I do too, but I will tell you right now that is a game that I am really interested to watch.
Bonaventure?
Yes.
Okay. Colorado and Georgetown. I'm going to take the Buffaloes.
I'm going to go with Georgetown because they are absolutely on fire right now.
They are.
And I like Patrick Ewing, so there's a little soft spot there.
Florida State, UNC Greensboro. We'll take the Seminoles.
Yeah, Leonard Hamilton's team is good.
BYU versus Michigan State or UCLA, depending on who we took. I'm just going to take BYU over UCLA.
Okay, I'm going to take Michigan State.
Okay.
Okay.
I have Texas over Abilene Christian.
Yes. Shaka Smart entered this season
on the hot seat.
Comes out in great shape.
Yeah. I'm going to take UConn over Maryland in a 7-10 game.
I am going to take Maryland in that game.
Maryland 16-13, UConn 15-7. I am going to take Nate Oates against Rick Pitino, Alabama over Iona.
Yeah. Sorry, Grind, but I've got
We're advancing the tide.
I've got Alabama rolling.
All right. Let's just go ahead and go. We'll stay with the side, and then we'll go over in a minute.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yep.
Okay. So I take Gonzaga over Oklahoma.
Yes. Here. Yes.
You have Gonzaga over Missouri, but either way, same thing.
Okay.
Okay. I've got Virginia over Creighton. You have Virginia UCSB here.
Yeah. So I've got Virginia advancing.
Okay. If you do, sure. I've got Kansas over USC.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. So what you're doing now is we're going to the third round.
Yeah, I'm staying on this side of the bracket. We'll get to the end, and then I'll flip back to the other side.
Hold on. Let me do a little cut and paste here.
Okay. You understand?
Yeah, I do now.
I'm staying all on the left side of the bracket until we finish.
So we started with this is Gonzaga. Gonzaga was the first game in this.
Yes, okay. Gonzaga over Oklahoma or Missouri, depending on who we have.
Okay.
And then we've got Virginia advancing, both of us. Me against Creighton, you against UCSB.
Got it.
Okay, and then actually, as I watch this, I'm going to change my mind. I've got USC beating Kansas.
All right, I do too.
Okay. Iowa against Oregon or VCU. I've got the Hawkeyes advancing against the Ducks. You've got them against the Rams.
Yeah, and I'll go Iowa here.
Okay.
They're legitimately good. Can you name their All-American player?
I can't. No.
Garza.
Okay. No.
Okay.
We're going to be different here. I've got Michigan over LSU.
And I've got LSU over Michigan.
Yeah.
This is where I'm really rolling.
You're rooting for a certain game later on.
And I'm rolling the dice on my bracket right here.
Because if Michigan goes on some big run, you got a problem.
This is a key moment in the tournament here at this point.
All right. I've got Florida State over Colorado. You've got Florida State against Georgetown.
And I've got Florida State advancing. Leonard Hamilton's team is really good.
Okay. I have Texas advancing against BYU. You have Texas playing Michigan State.
And I've got Texas advancing.
Okay.
Okay.
Alabama over UConn for me. Alabama against Maryland for you.
And I got Alabama in the Sweet 16.
Okay. I have Alabama beating Texas to the advance to the Elite Eight.
Okay, so now we're going.
We're staying east for the next round. No, we're still here.
Okay.
I'm just going back up the bracket again.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So this is round.
We're in the Sweets. We're in the whatever we're in. We're in the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight. Wait, whatever now. We're in the Sweet 16. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You good?
I think so.
Okay. I have Alabama over UConn. You have Alabama against Maryland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yes. I've got – I see what you're saying. So we both got Alabama. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got Texas over BYU. You have Texas against Michigan State.
Okay, we're both taking Texas, right?
Yeah, I mean, I am. So if you are, sure.
Okay.
All right. We had not already picked that, right? I didn't mess up there, right?
I'm afraid you've got this messed up a little somewhere.
Okay. Let's do this then.
Okay.
We can fix it right now.
All right.
We'll stay in the East.
Okay.
Okay. I have Alabama over Texas.
Okay, I do too.
Okay.
Okay, got
so
it.
just write that down. Keep that there. Got it?
Yep.
All right. And then I have Michigan over Florida State.
Okay.
You have LSU against Florida State.
Yeah, so I've got Alabama here. I've got LSU here.
Okay.
And you've got Michigan.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I have Michigan beating Alabama.
And I've got Alabama beating LSU.
Yes.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
All right. So we're all the way to the Final Four there.
Gotcha.
You good too?
So you've got one Final Four team in Michigan, and I've got one Final Four team in Alabama.
That is correct.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Now we'll move back to the West, what we've already done, and we'll finish this part of the bracket.
Okay.
So we have, I've got Gonzaga beating Virginia.
Okay. And I've got Gonzaga winning too.
Okay. And then I have Iowa beating USC.
Okay. And I've got Iowa there too.
Okay.
All right.
And then I have Gonzaga over Iowa.
Same.
Okay.
So you've got Michigan and Gonzaga in the Final Four in a semifinal, and I've got Alabama and Gonzaga in the Final Four in a semifinal.
Correct.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. And then I'll go ahead to get to the finals. I've got Gonzaga beating Michigan.
I've got Gonzaga
We'll
too.
go ahead and move in.
Okay.
You've got them against Alabama or whomever, but sure. All right. All good?
Yes.
All right. Moving to the top of the other side, first round.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
Baylor over Hartford.
Baylor.
In an 8-9 game, I've got Wisconsin beating North Carolina.
Yeah, I got Wisconsin winning there too.
In a 5-12 game, I have Villanova beating Winthrop. Winthrop 23-1.
Yeah, this is a weird spot because Nova's not as good as this year as they've been in the past. I'm gonna call a shot here. I'm gonna go.
Take the Eagles.
I'm gonna go Winthrop pulls the upset.
Okay. I have Purdue over North Texas in a 4-13 game.
Yeah, look, the Big Ten's really good, which is one of the reasons I might end up kicking myself on this Michigan LSU thing. The Big Ten's really good.
Texas Tech over Utah State.
So I'm catching up a second. Who do we have just then?
Purdue against North
Purdue.
Texas.
Thank you.
Yes. Then I have Texas Tech over Utah State.
Yeah, I've got Texas Tech also.
I have the Arkansas Razorbacks over Colgate.
Yeah, I'll go Hogs. I think it's a scary game, but I think I just think they're better than them. It's not like I think Arkansas wins.
I hope I'm wrong here, but I've got Virginia Tech over our boy Mike White in Florida.
Yeah, I fear the same. I hope I'm wrong. Would have loved to have seen what would have happened with this Florida team if Keontae had stayed healthy.
And then I have Ohio State over Oral Roberts in a 2-15 game.
Yeah, Ohio State's a terrific team.
Bottom of the that side now, I have Illinois over Drexel in a 1 game.
Yeah.
After the news yesterday, I have Loyola Chicago over Georgia Tech in an 8-9 game.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech's best player out, ACC Player of the Year.
Well, and they got Sister Jean.
Hey, I mean, go against that at your own peril. It is what it is.
She has Loyola going to the Elite Eight.
Does she?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then losing.
She has Gonzaga winning the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
And she has Loyola losing to West Virginia in the Elite Eight.
Has Gonzaga winning?
Yeah.
Okay. Tennessee over Oregon State, 5-12 game.
Yeah, I think Tennessee wins that game.
I know this is a little trendy for some people, but I'm not. I'm going to go with Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State against Liberty.
Oh, hell yeah.
Some people are picking that 4-13 upset
They
there.
hadn't watched him.
Okay.
He's so good. Great players typically shine on this stage.
6-11 game, I'm going to take the San Diego State Aztecs and over Syracuse.
Yes, San Diego State's a legitimate. They're probably underseeded a little.
I've got West Virginia over Morehead State in a 3-14 game.
Yeah, for sure.
I have Clemson over Rutgers in a 7-10 game.
This is an interesting game because this is where you get into the Big Ten thing. Rutgers has found a way to survive that league against those teams.
15-11.
And they're you talk about tested. When you come out of that league.
They won't be intimidated at Clemson.
No, you've gone Illinois, Ohio State, Iowa,
Michigan.
Michigan State. I mean, you have there hadn't been many Purdue. There haven't been many breathers. I think I'm going to go Rutgers here.
Okay.
So you're going Clemson, and I've got Rutgers.
Sure. This is a weird spot for me because I've got Houston advancing, obviously, against Cleveland State. I don't like Houston at all, but it's where you could take more of a gamble with Rutgers than I can. I still like Houston to beat Clemson. If I had a little better of a 7-10 there, I would like them to upset Houston, but I'm still sticking with Houston there as we move forward.
All right. I got Houston here too.
Okay. I've got West Virginia over San Diego State.
So we're into the next round, right?
Yeah, we're moving back up the bracket into the next round.
Okay.
Starting with Houston over Rutgers or Clemson.
So West Virginia, and I've got West Virginia as well.
Okay. I have Oklahoma State beating Tennessee.
Yes.
I have Illinois beating Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, this is where I think Sister Jean
runs out of gas.
I think she was letting her heart rule her head. I'll just say this. If UIC beats Illinois, I'm going to start to really believe in the power of prayer there for Sister Jean. Because Illinois is legit.
I've got Ohio State over Virginia Tech.
Yes.
I have Texas Tech over Arkansas.
And I'm going to go with the Hogs here. And I don't know why. Maybe this is me cheering for Campbell's team, but I don't know. For some reason, a lot of this is I start liking individual players a lot, and I like Moses Moody, who's not playing like a freshman right now.
I like Purdue in the Big Ten to beat Villanova. You've got Purdue-Winthrop in your game.
We both have Purdue advancing.
Okay. I have Baylor knocking off Wisconsin or North Carolina, depending on who you have in that game.
Yeah, I have Baylor beating Wisconsin.
Okay. Then I have Baylor beating Purdue. We're advancing to the next round.
Okay, so now we're in the first game of
Yeah.
So you've got
we're in the Sweet 16.
Okay. You got Baylor over Purdue.
Yep.
Okay.
And then
I've got Baylor over Purdue as well.
Okay. And then I have Ohio State over Texas Tech.
And I've got Ohio State beating Arkansas.
That's correct. Going on down, I've got Illinois beating Oklahoma State. I really like Illinois.
And I'm crazy here.
But you got Cade Cunningham.
And there's more to them than just him, and they just won the Big 12 tournament, and he's legit. And I'm going to go Oklahoma State pulls the upset here. And I'm probably eating it right now, but we'll see.
All right, I've got West Virginia over Houston here.
I've
got the Mountaineers are going on a little bit of a weird run.
And I'm with you here. I think West Virginia does the same.
You had West Virginia over San Diego State as well? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I got to catch up on that. But yeah.
I did.
From
the previous round.
Yep.
Okay. And then I have Illinois beating West Virginia.
Okay, so you've got Illinois advancing to the Final Four.
That is correct, yes.
And I've got Oklahoma State advancing to the Final Four.
Oh. And then I have actually Ohio State beating Baylor.
And I have Ohio State beating Baylor.
Okay.
So who do you have Illinois versus Ohio State in the Final Four?
Yeah, I'm going to advance Gonzaga and Illinois into the final.
And I'm going to put Gonzaga against Ohio State. And I'm going to pick Gonzaga to win the national title.
I'm doing the same thing.
All right, well.
There's our bracket.
We now know who is not going to win the national championship. It will not be Gonzaga. So you can just count that out.
Sorry, Mark Few, for what we've done to you today. But nonetheless, here we are.
Congratulations to UCSB on your national championship. So it's awesome. All right,
anyway.
I've got it saved. It's all. I'll send you a copy.
Okay. We will actually put that in bracket form for everybody, and we'll figure it out.
So 1 point tonight. 2 points starting tomorrow.
Okay, sure.
And then 3 for on.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Just one extra, not doubling.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm just asking.
Whatever people recommend. They would know better than me.
Okay. Either way, we'll figure that out. But there's the tournament, so we'll let you know, and then let you know kind of what our schedule is moving forward as well. But anyway. Appreciate everybody hanging in and more. So we'll get the bracket to you. We'll let you know exactly what we're doing for punishment and when we are doing that. But I think we have a pretty good idea as we move forward. So thanks for the live stream. You listen on the podcast, and we'll talk to you again very soon.